Yes. Welkom in my klas, graad 12's. Ons is besig met kringe in die bos. En vandag gaan ons kyk na twee aspekte. Ruimte, met ander woorde, ons kan praat van die space of ons kan praat van die milieu. En dan gaan ons baie vinnig, nee, ons gaan nie vinnig nie, ons gaan regtig in diepte kyk na die konflik in hierdie storie. So daar is ons prentjies. Ek wil net gou vir julle hierso, dis hoe dit lyk vandag nog. So die een plek waar die storie afspeel is die bos of the forest. En hier is 'n prentjie van die houtkappers. Julle kan sien hierdie verskriklike groot boomstamme. Die een ding wat ek gou vir julle wil wys in hierdie foto, is julle kan sien dat die bome is baie lank. They are very tall. So there's very little sunshine, direct sunshine, in hierdie deel. Hulle praat van die onderbos of die ondergroei. All right, so keep this in mind because this will also come into question at a stage. Goed, hierso is nou 'n kaart, ekskuus. So hier kan julle sien, hier is die dorpie Knysna. Ek wil net gou my kleur verander, miskien gaan dit helderder wees. Daar is die dorpie Knysna en die woud is nou hier rondom, né? Hier is Swellendam. So julle kan sien, nogals 'n redelike entjie uitmekaar uit. Hier is die Kaap, waar McDonald vir Kate heen gestuur het, toe hy vir Saul en vir Kate uitmekaar uit wou hou. So, die storie speel af, hierso, in hierdie area, en hier, en dan nou ook, ons lees net van Kate wat Kaap toe gegaan het. So, dit is nou om vir jou 'n idee te gee van die ruimte waarbinne die storie plaasvind. Goed, kom ons kyk na die bos. Die bos was altyd skemer. There was always shade. Inheemse bome. So it's trees that are indigenous to South Africa. You won't find them, they didn't come from Australia or wherever, indigenous to South Africa. Dit was vol bokke. Daar was 'n bosbok, grysbokkies, en dan hierdie blou bokkie. Onthou, ons het nou al gepraat van die blou bokkie se gaul wat in sy kop sit. Dan was daar olifante, ons het foto's gesien, en dan was daar voëlsoorte waarvan die mees bekende een is, die Knysna lorie. Daar's voorbeelde van hulle. So it was a magical place. Maar die lewe in die bos was baie moeilik. You can imagine not having running water or electricity, or the little places where they stayed moved, and they will pack up everything and they will move to the next area where the men will then start cutting the trees. What's interesting, their staple food was patats. Sweet potatoes, and whatever they could hunt for food. So they had to set, hulle moes strikke stel, waarin hulle die diere kon vang. En dit is 'n winterreënvalstreek. So when it rained, you can just imagine, it was wet, it was not conducive to easy living, if we can put it like that. Goed, as ons vinnig kyk na Knysna in daai tyd, now remember we're talking about late 1800s, it was a developing town. If you can think back on those photos that I showed you sort of in the beginning, there were people who were very rich, like the wood buyers, and there were the very, very poor people. There's a specific place in the book where Saul wanted to go to the library, and then he was told bluntly that people like him cannot go to the church or the library. So it was really a very depressing, suppressing place to be a child in. When he moved to Swellendam, now you can now look in your mind's eye where Swellendam is, he felt at home immediately. Hy het dadelik tuis gevoel. It was a friendly town. The people were kind. He gets back his worthiness as a human being, sy menswaardigheid. En daarmee, en met die kennis wat hy opgedoen het, the knowledge, kennis, en sy vaardigheid. Remember, in this town he trained to become a furniture maker. So hy het 'n fyn kuns aangeleer om meubels te maak. Al hierdie goed, die feit dat hulle hom soos 'n mens behandel, menswaardig behandel, dat hy kennis het, dat hy 'n vaardigheid het, gee vir hom die moed, the courage to go back to Knysna. Okay, nou kom ons by die konflik, the possibility of conflict between people. We know that conflict is in two parts. There's an inner conflict. Now, the character of Saul, he is portrayed as this person that asks questions. And it started with the blauwbokkie. I've explained that. He realized that this story that his parents told him is not the truth. And as a 14-year-old, he decided that he has to start thinking and he has to start asking questions. In independent thought, he had to think about life. He had to ask questions about life because he was surrounded by wrong ideas, people who believe things that are not true. For a big part of his life, he was an angry person and he was very at the end of his tether with the circumstances of the people in the bush, in the forest. It's actually quite amazing that this character already asks questions about conservation and the decisions that he makes. He takes responsibility for his decisions. He has this, there's this war going on in himself. He's conflicted between hate on the one side and love on the other side. Hy is so lief vir die bos. He so deeply cares about the forest, but he also hates it because it's a place of oppression. He loves Oakwood, but he also is driven to kill Oakwood. How do you bring those two ideas together? if we think about Kate, he loves Kate, but he also treats her like she's his enemy until they get together. And then there's a fourth one that I want to add, the goat. He's positive about the gold because it can help him to improve his own life. But he's also very negative about it because he realizes what the stormloop can do in the destruction of nature. Like his dad, and this is a mistake, it must be hardkoppig. Hardkoppig. So he's also very stubborn, like his father, but he's got his principles, and he believes in his principles and his values, sy waardes. So you can just imagine this guy is really in conflict with himself. It means all of this that's going on in his head is making him quite rebellious. And we see that in the sense that he takes on the system. he really takes on the wood buyers, and he makes waves as far as he can. The one thing that really bugged him was the love of riches and how that skewed the whole society. That made people acceptable or unacceptable. And he was very, very angry around the disparity, the way that people are not treated the same. What was good for the goose was not good for the gander. Goed, al hierdie innerlike konflikte bring hom natuurlik nou in konflik met mense. So die eerste groep mense met wie hy in konflik was die houtkappers. Die groep mense waaruit hy gekom het. He came from that group of people. He couldn't make peace with the way that they just accepted everything. Hy was baie ongelukkig met hulle, dat hulle nie kan insien hoe hulle uitgebuit word nie. How they just accepted and just stayed slaves in a way. He was very angry at the houtkopers, and by name MacDonald and Smith, how they kept these people in the dark, how they kept them poor, they kept them in debt. They would do things like say they want more wood, and then the woodcutters would go back into the forest and they would work very hard and bring some wood, and then the wood buyers would tell them this is second-hand quality, and then they would pay them little, and then in the meantime, in reality, it was stinkhout en geelhout, die beste hout wat daar is. So they were very, very dishonest. In particular, this man was, he was portrayed a bit as a caricature, as just bad and evil. And we know people are not just bad and evil. But for the sake of the story, he was the symbol of dishonesty and not a nice person. And then he also had conflict with the gold diggers. You can understand why. They also did not think twice about destroying nature. And that was why they were in conflict with one another. He was also in conflict with Kate. Although they were friends, although they were close together, remember, Kate came from a different part of life. If you think about, I don't know if you would be aware of it, but in my day when I grew up, there was the town was divided in die onderdorp en die boedorp. Of dis kan die spoor en ander kan die treinspoor. So there was this divide. She was on the one hand, on the one side, and he was on the other. Sy het gekom uit 'n ander leefwêreld. She came from a very rich, privileged life. And Kate did not always understand him. Sy het Saul nie altyd verstaan nie. Hy was so 'n trotse man. He was a very proud man, which is not always a good thing. But he didn't want to give away one bit. And they, as we looked in the past, some of the previous lessons, their relationship was when they were close together, then they moved apart. Sy konflik met sy pa was ook baie erg. Ek het vir julle verduidelik, he sort of, hy het Saul verdra, omdat hy sy ma se lieflingskind was. But then at a stage, he just couldn't bear it anymore. And he chased him away. We also see that in the relationship with Joseph. We did speak about that in very, quite in a broad way, that there was a break between them, but they eventually came together. So I hope that you have a better insight into the conflict within Saul and also with the people around him. Just to remember, ultimately, it turned out for the better for him. Ek hoop daar's nog 'n paar stukkies van die legkaart bymekaar, tot ek julle weer sien.